Hello and you're very welcome to the Throne Show, entertainment.ie's own Game of Thrones review and analysis show. My name is Dave O'Regan. I'm here with Ronayne and entertainment.ie and a train. I'm here with entertainment.ie's TV editor Fiona Flynn.
Throne Show.
Do I not get a sound? Oh.
Fiona, you've got a coffee cup on the table. We're trying to create an aesthetic here. I apologise.
It's good enough for Daenerys Targaryen, Dave. It's good enough for me.
There was a coffee cup in this week's episode in one of the shots.
Oh, wait. I'm getting rid of the coffee cup now.
I appreciate that. Okay, back to business. The episode, The Last of the Starks, it's finished.
Yes.
It's in the bag. Owen, your initial reactions?
I really enjoyed it. I thought they did a good job of lamenting the Battle of Winterfell for the first good bit, and then things really got going. Go on, Fiona.
Deep dive. It was a lot squeezed into one episode, which I think is problematic in its own way, but we can get to that. I did enjoy, I think it was appropriate goodbyes to a lot of those characters. I did kind of find that actually quite emotional. Maybe not as emotional as it could have been, but yeah, it definitely, hit a nerve, especially with Sansa with Theon and Daenerys with Jorah. My favourite part was just the big massive session of all the drinking games, the chats, the late night booty calls.
Yeah,
it
there was
had
some
it
booty
all.
calling, yeah.
I'd actually, watching the trailer for this episode last week, and there was like the scene in the Great Hall where they're all having pints or whatever. I was like, who's going to be the first person after the funeral to be like, we get a pint?
Yeah.
Someone had say it, and then it was Daenerys. I was like, she was way down my list of like, well, so let's get
drink up, gang.
Yeah, fair play to her. Speaking of Daenerys, it's been a big episode for her. She seems to be
She's all over the shop, yeah.
A bit hurried with this character development. Obviously, one of her two sons, she keeps calling.
Children.
I'm not a huge fan of it.
Yeah.
It's like people who.
She's the mother of dragons.
She's the mother of dragons.
It's like
She's their mom.
Yeah, but when they talk about like their dogs, there's like, oh, I'm a dog mum. No,
That's fair enough.
Dogs are great, but you're not a mum. Come on. Anyway.
Spoken like someone who would abandon Ghost without a second thought.
Oh my God! Can we
do such a
before
thing?
we get
Don't
into
do
it?
that.
All right, see you later. Good to know you, Ghost.
Come on.
Shocked, like.
All right, we're going to come to John in a minute.
We will.
Danny, okay.
Yeah.
Fiona, is she coming on something of a character development rush job here?
It's interesting what they've done with her, I think, because they're definitely giving John, as they say in reality TV, the winner's edit, and she's just really been chipped and chipped away at. And I think the conversation with Varys and Tyrion was really interesting in that they are now very much doubting her, and they know there's an alternative now as well. But I think a lot of what it is, like a lot of the people that sort of made up her heart, so to speak, like she's lost 2 dragons, which I guess aren't people, sorry, they're dragons. She's now lost Missandei, she's lost Jorah, so I think the people that kind of would have kept her in check
Really good point,
are gone, and I think now we've, like her face at the end, like that is a woman who is out for revenge, and at what cost, though?
Yeah, the last thing Missandei said to her, like, born the feck out of them.
Yeah.
That's really good accent of her.
Yeah,
that's exactly how Missandei talked.
Bravos or whatever. Whatever.
But yeah, I think it's interesting that she's gone down this road now of being like, it's a mad queen. I suppose they were always hinting at it, but in some ways, like back in season 6, she was definitely seen as the hero, the savior to them all. And I mean, power corrupts, I know, and that's sort of a big message of the show. But in some ways, I feel like she will go down this dark path, but that ultimately, I kind of hope she redeems herself, but in a kind of a self-sacrificing way.
Sure.
So that I can't see her actually being the one who's going to sit in the throne, but I think that she will come to some really rational... Like, in one way, I can see it going that someone she loves will end up killing her so she doesn't do something crazy. But in another way, I'm like, oh, that's such an injustice to her, though. Like Daenerys Targaryen, who we've been on this journey with from the beginning and watched her grow and become this leader, and for her to just be... I don't know.
I know, maybe it does seem a tiny bit contrived that she's kind of slowly becoming more and more evil, or debatably, like, but I don't know, like, that is how they've written it this season, and they have, whether it's a betrayal of character, I don't know, but it's true, I can't see how a satisfying ending could just be her on the throne, cut to credits or whatever.
No.
So
I feel like regardless of what the ending is, like it can't be like someone sitting on the throne cut to credits. It can't. Surely
Yeah,
not.
exactly.
I think that's just what everyone is expecting, and I think if that does happen, like regardless of who it is, no one's like,
but
a lot
like,
of people won't be happy with it.
Surely the Seven Kingdoms will just keep going. So like, there's not going to be an army of the dead to wipe them all out anymore. Someone's going to have to look after government. So, like,
will they establish more of a coalition government? Is this the beginning of like letting the royalty move out of things and then having it more like as Tyrion and the likes of Varys, they're very much all for the people and kind of a fair system.
Yeah.
So maybe you're right. Maybe the message is that we don't need an Iron Throne and one supreme leader. It's about the power of the people.
Yeah, giving it back. Yeah, good question. I mean, it was good to see Varys get that time.
Probably the most he's had.
We've had in a good
seasons.
while, yeah. Because I was so sure we would have lost him by now because of Melisandre. Do you remember the whole thing about he also knows his destiny from the Lord of Light or whatever?
Yes,
So I was expecting him to die this episode, to be honest, after having that much screen time.
I know.
But no, I think it's built up well for some kind of big conflict next episode. Do we really think it's going to be bigger than the Battle of Winterfell?
Apparently.
It's definitely going to be brighter.
It's definitely going to be brighter.
Very
daytime
exciting
battle.
I'm excited for that.
And we got the famous Tyrion knockout, miss a big battle thing
Oh,
that Game of Thrones loves to do.
That they did that, yeah. It was season 2 we said that they did that, wasn't it?
Yeah, he missed the Battle of Blackwater, the second half of it, I think. And
Yeah.
what was the other one? Maybe.
It was the one where they were up against Robb Stark and he was in the tent and he was like running out to battle. And
Whispering
then
Wood?
I think that was it, yeah.
Could be.
He keeps getting hit on the head to save budget.
Yeah. They were like, we're not having another battle scene. you know?
Yeah, that explains the drinking.
Yes.
He has been drinking an awful lot. I think he's been
did
drinking
mention
considerably more. And like, I actually, he's been absolutely, he was never a man to, not partake.
Say no to a pint.
But he's been absolutely ploughing through them since just before the Battle of Winterfell when he got the sacks of wine downstairs. And I wonder, and when he was chatting to Jaime in this episode about how he hasn't slept with a woman in a couple of years, and I think there was a part of him had found a purpose with Daenerys, and now I think he's kind of feeling a bit of loss of that purpose, and I think he's turning that bit of self-destructive. He's just absolutely cannoning away.
Yeah.
Well, it did get asked, who would be the better leader, Jon or
And he pretty much said Jon.
Yeah, they're all kind of in agreement, come on now. So they have set the table to have one sound one and one not sound one, but as you said, whether that's kind of justified or...
Yeah.
Because I do know what you mean about, the almost anti-feminist angle of having two strong women, but sure, they must be both loopy or they'll have to defeat each other or something.
That it comes down to Cersei and Daenerys. But it's sort of like these batshit women, they're just gonna kill each other, and then Jon gets on the crown, or on the throne. And I know they did acknowledge that with Varys' conversation of having a cock actually matters when it's this kind of situation in Westeros.
It's the world they're in.
But yeah, part of me is like, are you kind of selling the women short in this story by just having them self-destruct like this? But my answer to that would be that Sansa Stark could come through as the one who ultimately is the
She could be the best ruler of the entire kingdom.
She's a bit of a snake, though, I think. She's turning into a bit of a snake.
Well, there's another pacing
thing. You need to be a little bit snaky now in that.
Cloaks and daggers.
Can we talk about pacing issues where it's like, all right, I'll tell you this thing, but don't tell him. Grant, Tyrion, you won't believe.
Yeah.
He kept that secret for all of 30 seconds.
Yeah. For 18 years.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. For an hour and a half.
And then I love the conversation on the boat where it's 8 people know. Well, now it's just information.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's out there.
It's out there.
So you're saying I can tell everyone?
Yeah, his little birds. It's Twitter.
Yeah, his little birds are Twitter. It's just
It's not a secret anyway.
No, you just were talking about Jon, and you were saying how it seems to be Cersei and Dany are being pitted against each other, with Jon being the, I suppose, could you call it a final level? Are they in has he got a bye to the final? And they're taking the semi-final out now here. But Jon had, he was, not the most useful person in the Battle of Winterfell. Arya was the hero, all this kind of thing. For years, it's just been Jon's Army of the Dead. That's it. And now the Army of the Dead is done. Essentially, that arc for him is finished, and now I think he's at a crossroads. I think he hasn't quite figured out what to do. I personally think the not saying goodbye to Ghost but saying goodbye to the lads was that he's not quite ready to give up on being a Stark, or I don't know, like there's some conversation to be had there about whether he is. I think if he acknowledges that he's a Targaryen and he goes for the throne or whatever like that, that's him essentially like, all right, good luck, Ghost, see you later. But I reckon like Ghost could potentially come back into play. It all depends on kind of which way he goes.
Like, I don't think we'll see Tormund again. I don't think there's a chance we could not see Sam again. Like, he kind of got a farewell happy ending in this episode.
It's funny because I didn't think that so many of those characters, I always assumed they all just died. And
Like it's almost like we might not see Winterfell again kind of thing. But anyway, I suppose with Jon, it's that thing again, we've seen it before where he's so honest and so true. She commanded him, Daenerys, I mean, commanded him, was like, well, there is a way, I've just told you, don't tell anyone your thing. And he was like, no, I'm too sound. Next scene, like...
honest to a fault.
Yeah, exactly. So
Too sound.
I'm just too bloody sound.
I'm just too sound. Sorry. I'm going to tell my sisters.
Some of us have to bear.
My sisters, they won't tell anyone, I guarantee you.
Yeah.
Sorry, it is a cross you have to bear, Dave, yes.
I appreciate that. Now, Jon said his goodbyes to Sam and Tormund, as he said. I kind of see it as like, yeah, I think that's a good ending for Sam. Tormund, I'm like, is he fizzled out completely? It's like, nah, I don't get Brienne. The line he had about which one of you cowards shit my pants, that was great.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed that.
Tormund was just that mad joke at the party being like, Gantz,
He's that last.
Absolutely, yeah. He was definitely the last one up. And you're just like, just go to bed, Leah. I'm just trying to lock
Tormund's that lad who's the last one up at Electric Picnic, and you're like, shut up, man.
Like the Monday afternoon guy, he's still on a session, and you're just trying to pack up and go.
The cans or whatever. You're like, shut up, man.
Yeah,
you're
and I'd say that's why you're like, look, just leave.
Yeah, back up.
Or will they all return in episode 6 for Jon Snow's funeral when Sansa's queen of everything?
That's your prediction, I believe.
Well, it's just like if they go like the whole Lord of the Rings ending.
Return of the King.
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe that is the last we see of them. Like at the moment it is sort of whittling away, leaving just our kind of 5 or 6 main characters. But an interesting, well, I suppose we'll talk about this in predictions, but I do think that maybe this episode will just be, as you said, Daenerys and Cersei, and the final episode could actually be Lannisters versus Starks.
Sure.
Or then it could just be Starks versus Targaryens either. So I don't know. Exactly. It could go either way, but I think it'll be interesting. It's all about coming full circle this last season and making a nod to the first season. And I think it all began with the Starks versus the Lannisters. So I think it would be a fitting end if it was all down to the Starks versus the Lannisters. And that's how he got into power. It wasn't necessarily going up against Daenerys. Because it wouldn't surprise me now if Cersei won against Daenerys, you know?
Well, we'll be coming to that for your predictions for the next episode.
I feel like I just gave my predictions now.
No, that's your predictions for the series, which you've definitely written and put in an envelope. I
have, yeah.
I assume that's exactly what you've written when you wrote it 2 weeks ago, yeah?
Nothing's changed.
Okay, we're just going to take a quick segue. So you watch Game of Thrones. What's the next thing you do? You check Twitter. You watch the best tweets. So we've picked out a selection of our favourites. Check them out right here.
Ghost hearing he has to go north because the CGI budget deported him.
Euron, when Cersei's baby is born in 2 months.
The Hound with everyone versus the Hound with Sansa and Arya. # Game of Thrones. He's a cutie.
Cersei might be evil, but at least she's consistent and gets shit done in time.
The Beatles arguing with John Lennon about Yoko Ono, 1966.
The only man who can keep a secret in the 7 kingdoms. Ooh, kept it secret for 18 years. Daughters find out. Oh, did you hear about John? Does that make any sense?
Rest in peace, Rhaegal. You may not have always been the favourite dragon, but you provided good lighting in episode 3 and will always be remembered for it.
I just want to say, Tormund would never!
Neeeer.
Yeah, # Game of Thrones. You can cut.
Now, in terms of big character developments, Jaime and Brienne finally got together. A lot of people quite pleased about this. But obviously, he has packed his bags. He's off. Fiona, your thoughts?
The prick!
Wow.
I know.
Get
I
off
mean,
the fence. Tell us what you really
he just
think.
took what he wanted and left. And left poor Brienne heartbroken, which in one way I'm like, she'll be fine. She'll dust that one off. I don't know. I was fine for Jaime and Brienne's journey to end with him knighting her. Which now just sounds like some sort of euphemism. Lads. But yeah, I think that it was I didn't necessarily need that love story to play out. I was kind of glad it did. It is very fan servicey. But then I suppose his ultimate decision to just he decided to stay with Brienne, and then he decides that he's going off with Cersei because that's what his true calling is. And I suppose in one way, he was never just going to go off and live happily ever after with Brienne. There still has to be some kind of standoff.
Do you think he's going back to Cersei?
He's going back to her in some shape or form. I don't know if he's going to be back saying I love you, I'm going to be here by your side when you die. He could be going back to kill her. I don't think he really knows quite yet. I just think he knows that he can't just let this all go down without him being there.
Yeah. I kind of enjoyed it. I thought it was
It's a bit vain.
It's Jaime Lannister, hello.
It was another victim to how sped up everything was this episode, but they got about half an episode together in happiness, and then it's he realizes he has unfinished business down south, and he thought he could just sit it out and wait up north and miss the whole battle, but now
I suppose there was that element where he had said that he had come to Winterfell, and it was the start of episode 2, where he was like, I've come to fight for the living. He didn't so much say he'd come to fight for the Starks and whatnot, but then they killed the Night King, so essentially he did what he was told, or did what he said he would. So in a way, was this kind of what he'd planned? He was like, if I survive, I'm obviously not going to stay. I'm going to head back out. Brienne was just a bonus.
Yeah, I don't know. I see it more just him reckoning with his past one last time. I think he is a good lad, officially.
Do you think he'll come good in the end?
Good lad.
What you call it? Someday I hope to earn that second thumb.
Two thumbs up for our Jaime.
He's not the first. Or he's not the only person to hit the road on their own.
Yeah.
Or not so much on their own, but Arya and the Hound have also...
back together again.
Yes, recreating their season 4 road trip, which took an entire season, but I'm a funny feeling this journey will be a lot faster.
I kind of thought it was so bittersweet. We can't downplay how much he was like, I don't think I'll be back to the north. And she was like, yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
So, that could mean that there'll never be a scene with her and Sansa again, potentially. I mean, is that actually it? She's like, she's broken up with Gendry. She's not gonna ever come back. She's just done with the whole thing. I don't know. Poor Gendry,
Well, she did, to be fair, have one of the most important killings
in
the whole show, where she murdered Gendry's heart. But the Night King was also involved.
By the way, did any of us talk about how much we... Oh, we didn't. No, we didn't see that coming. We talked about it in the last episode,
Yeah. We're a week on now.
What's this
week
show?
On?
Yeah, the Night King the Army of the Dead doesn't exist.
Who?
The lads, they're
gone.
gone.
Sorry, I know there's a tangent, but that did barely... Do you remember that army of the undead we defeated a few days ago?
Well, no,
they were celebrating it, but
yeah, the kind of opening was acknowledging that.
Enough though, they beat the undead.
Yeah, I suppose that is the issue with this entire season, and that it's all very much let's squeeze as much as we possibly can. Honestly, that entire episode could have been a whole season 2 arc for a lot of those characters. It is very crammed in.
I suppose it's just not that entertaining being settling on things for a while, but yeah, it's definitely moving at a fast pace.
Speaking of a fast pace, Euron, Sonic the Hedgehog Greyjoy, in a boat.
I'm over here now.
He just appears.
Why don't they see him coming, Dave? I don't understand. There's a pirate. You're up against an actual pirate.
She's on a dragon.
She's on a dragon.
Yeah.
Picture a crow's nest on top of a ship, and then another mile above that, it's is that a load of ships 20 minutes away?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think the fact that, when they showed the ships that they were coming around this archipelago or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm I don't think, is that supposed to be the thing that hid all these massive ships? I don't know, but...
And then he shoots that crossbow, pinpoint accurate. Second dragon gone. Well, I don't know. It was quite abrupt, but it was entertaining at least.
From the previous episode, Theon and the Greyjoys did that whole exposition about how the Greyjoys are the greatest archers. It's like
enough.
Kilkenny is to hurling, as the Greyjoys is to like
sea archery.
Sea archery. It's a very niche sport.
Yeah.
It's only played in the
Oversized
Southwest.
sea archery.
Yeah, but I think Euron as a character, I think he's like, when those ballista arrows went and killed Rhaegal, like that was a real Game of Thrones moment, I thought. That It was just a death out of nowhere. Like,
It was fast.
It was an ambush, completely.
Yeah.
And even the music was all cheerful and inspirational.
Yeah.
Shank. He's down.
Yeah.
Not having it.
I don't know. I don't want to keep just pouring cold water over him, but I think if there was any flimsy bit of the final season, it's he's the kind of Dorne thing where it's like he's a bit of a 2D villain there to thin the ranks and just.
He might as well be twirling his mustache.
Yeah, he
and
pops up for a
dancing
minute and
off
goes,
the
"I'm a
screen,
cheeky chap," and then leaves again. And it's like, oh damn him.
But all the people surrounding Cersei are sort of this like. I don't know, like the mad scientist, the zombie guy,
Zombie
the
gladiator.
mad pirate then, and it's sort of like,
Which
you know,
side are we meant to be rooting for?
but it's a bit like camp or something, you know? It's like, and then Cersei's just this like smirk, Night King-esque smirk the entire time, not being wiped off her face anytime soon. But yeah, it is sort of like, I don't know, it's sort of selling her character short a bit because she doesn't really have anyone kind of with emotional connection around her at this point.
Sure, yeah. They dedicated a bit of time to that Tyrion-Cersei chat at the end.
Yeah, but like, why does Tyrion keep thinking he can talk her around? Like, he just betrayed you like 5 minutes ago.
I know,
Like, stop trying to appeal to her better nature. She doesn't have
There's
one.
only so many times when she can go like, kill him. Oh,
Yeah,
never
you're the
mind.
close one.
Like, all right, let's go
Although
to
that
war.
was one of those moments where, like, as you were saying, it was very Game of Thrones when they killed the dragon. But I also thought when Tyrion was standing up there like that, I was like, oh god, we're fourth episode. He could die this way.
He could just get shot. Yeah, it's fair enough.
And it felt like he was probably going to be okay. But again, it was like maybe he will go this way. I think at this point, you just don't know.
I think that's the big strength of Game of Thrones overall is that, like, at least it can, because of the deaths we've seen, it can always keep us guessing. Where it's like, oh shit, because it doesn't matter if he's a big character, that could just be him getting shot. Right?
Yeah. You're on that. Now he must know that he's not the baby daddy because Tyrion knows about the pregnancy. Or
yeah, I wonder if that was planted there on purpose. They're there having baby chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, great
The
question.
whole baby is such a question mark though, I don't know. Like, is the
Just
baby
like real life, huh?
Very profound. Thanks, Dave.
I don't even know what that means. Yeah. Now it's time for me to approach the both of you with a question.
Yes.
You're not aware of what's going. God,
No.
your face.
Dave's question time.
I'm so close as well. Okay. The question I'm going to put to you is, you were just comparing like Cersei's smirk to like the Night King, and like we were talking about the different armies and such. But had episode 3 ended differently, had the Night King won and killed everyone up there and was marching down to King's Landing, would you be whose side would you be on in the final battle? Would you be on the Night King's side or Cersei's side? Fiona, I'm going to come to you.
Well, the Night King just wants to wipe out civilization, so I'd probably be Team Cersei because, you know, she's still a complete nightmare, but she's alive, so it's like, are we handing over all of humanity to like? It's like if aliens invaded planet Earth and you were like, it's only Trump or the I'm like the aliens.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? You'd still root for the person who represents humanity and civilization because we don't. It's not like we have this backstory of the Night King and like his motivations or anything.
Exactly.
You know, he's very much just like the big bad that doesn't really have much depth. You know, we don't. You know, because funnily, someone was asking me recently, like, what has the Night King been doing for the last 10,000 years? And I'm like, sometimes I wish we'd just seen the Night King, like, just chilling out with his White Walker friends, you know? At least then it might have been a bit like, and just talking,
You can't miss
just
it.
talking about that bastard Jon Snow, you know?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Really kind of getting into the Night King's motivations. Whereas, like, there's a lot to be said for Cersei and how she's planned things. Like, she could easily win this battle against Daenerys without even breaking a sweat. So yes, she's an absolute tyrant in a lot of ways, but also, I mean, she's got way more military strategy than a lot of the rest of them. So yeah, I'm not really phrasing that great, but military strategy.
I get you, yeah.
I appreciate it.
I'd vote Night King. Just end it all.
Just
Westeros
contrarian.
doesn't deserve. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know. I suppose they like. The show does an all right job of alluding to the billions of civilians who are impacted by all this stuff. They had a good line in this episode about, like, what is it? They don't care who's on the Iron Throne. They just want fed or whatever. I think Varys is standing up for that ideal. But I suppose they would all just be killed and turned into zombies if he won.
That's the dream,
So
really.
I vote that.
Yeah.
Okay, folks, we're coming to the wrap up of the show. I want your predictions for episode 5. Fiona, your completely new predictions. Let's have them.
My completely new predictions. Yeah, Daenerys is just going to wreak havoc, I think. It's all been building up to this, I think, with her, and we're going to definitely see her in some very precarious situation where she has to choose between killing Cersei and a lot of innocent people, or maybe surrendering. So yeah, and I think that I feel like it's going to come down to maybe someone that loves Daenerys or someone she loves ultimately having to talk her down or kill her so that she doesn't do something insane.
The conflict between her and Tyrion or something coming to her head.
Like she's just going to have to make... What do you think?
Well, like, the teaser really didn't give much away. Like, it showed the crossbows being loading and stuff. I was very teased. But whether it'll reach the peaks military style of the third episode, I don't know. But I think, I mean, like, the other thing, like, all we can do is guess with the pieces that have been played so far. Like, they actually spent a lot of time this series or season talking about Grey Worm and Missandei, so he's seeing red now. The Unsullied are really going to be going for it. But
Red Worm.
I think it all comes back to that prediction Bran saw, where we still have yet to see the dragon flying over the Red Keep shot. So I think that will happen next episode. I think we're going to see the throne room burnt out of it in the Red Keep, like the roof blown off it and stuff.
Like
maybe it
Ronayne.
wasn't snow, maybe it was ash or something. And just, I don't know, things are coming to a head.
Yeah.
It's not worth predicting.
It's not worth predicting it. I think
As we've
if
said
there's...
before, I'm just here to watch the telly.
We could see the end of Daenerys Targaryen next week, I think. I think it's a possibility. Episode 5, she could go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In which
If
case,
it-
it's just
if
full
it is
circle.
going to go that way of it being Lannisters versus
She's the Mad
Starks.
Queen.
Yeah.
Are we going to see Clegane Bowl?
Oh,
Definitely.
well, we have
Giddy
to.
up.
Come on.
Yeah. Fan service, yes, please.
Arya jump out of the shadows and stuff.
Yeah, Arya will be there. Yeah. Let's always have Arya in the wings somewhere, and
Well, like
everyone's
right
gonna be
now,
fine.
I know we only saw him do a little bit of beheading, but if you had to go Hound versus the Mountain, it has to be the Mountain. Like the state of him, like
Yeah.
the last time we saw the Hound, he was cowering from a bit of fire. He still hates
But I'm
fire.
kind of hoping
Yeah,
he's
but the mountain's
conquered
not made
his...
out of fire, is he?
He was doing a lot of like moaning at the start of this episode, wasn't he? He was left sitting at that banquet table a lot. So
No, he's just a whinger.
we'll
Yeah.
see. I hope
Doesn't
he
like
wins. I hope he
Okay,
wins.
we shall see indeed. Thanks very much for joining us, folks. We hope you really appreciated the chat. We appreciated you listening to us. Owen is now going to have his nap. Thanks very much again, and we'll see you next week on The Broad Show.